So welcome back everyone to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here for today on the show. We're having the best Tuesday already because we have on the show the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary, the one and only, the incredible Taynee. Taynee, how are you today?
I am great, thank you. How are you?
Doing fantastic. What better way to have an incredible, super badass Tuesday than to be chatting with someone as badass as you? You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate the big up. Thank you.
Totally. Now, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow. It helps a lot. But also, on the description below, you're gonna find all of Taynee's social media. Let's follow her. Let's find out why she's super badass. And without further more, let's jump in. So, I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the very first question, which is, when was the moment when you knew music wasn't just a passion, but a path?
I think I always knew it. I've never wanted to do anything else. I've always, from a really young age, my parents would say I could sing before I could walk because I could talk before I could walk. It took me a long time to walk, apparently. So I've always had that passion for music and I'd always loved it from a young age. But yeah, I don't really have any other interests, any other hobbies. I kind of just went straight for the music and I always knew deep down this what I wanted to do. But I think I started writing my own songs when I was about 14, and I think that and like started gigging locally in music venues when I was about 14. So that was when I thought a bit more like, okay, well, this is happening now.
That's pretty cool. I'll take it. Now, your voice is your instrument. So what's something people misunderstand about what it takes to protect it and at the same time master it?
Yeah, I think I've struggled with that a lot over the years. I get tonsillitis quite often, and I really have struggled with vocal health. And I do so much to try and keep my vocals healthy. I don't really drink alcohol anymore unless it's a special occasion. That really, I realized, ruined my voice and made it really low. And if I would go on a night out or drink, it would take me almost like 3 weeks to recover just from one night with my throat. So I don't really drink acidic drinks or anything like that. I try and be really health conscious of my throat. And then leading up to a show, I'll do vocal exercises for like an hour every single day to just kind of keep the strength, steam my vocals, and have throat teas and things like that. So there's a lot that goes into it. Yeah, and you're using it all the time because obviously we talk all the time. So it's hard thing to kind of keep control of your vocal health. But yeah, it's something I still struggle with now.
Fair enough. Tell me about a song you wrote our performance that changed you more than your audience.
Okay, so it's not a song that I wrote, but I'd say it was a song that inspired me a lot. So my biggest inspiration as a child was Dolly Parton. And when I was 10 years old, I saw Dolly in concert and she did a cover of an 80s classic called Drives Me Crazy. And she did like a country version of it and she did like a country little rap. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness, I want to do that. Like I was obsessed with her singing this cover song. So now I do her version in my shows as like our cover for the show if we like throw in one cover. And I love it. And it means so much to me because it was kind of like the first concert I ever went to, and I love performing it. It's one of my favorite songs. We've changed it again, like even more. But I think that means a lot to me, and probably no one else in the audience would recognize that, if that makes sense.
Hmm. That is what it's all about, right? To sometimes it just gets sometimes it just takes like one song or something you hear or
Yeah.
something, right? To kind of inspire you to start to click things and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna create this in because I like it and because I want to, perhaps maybe inspire someone or just for fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was kind of the first time I'd heard a cover change genre, like someone had changed the genre of the cover. And I thought that was really cool that she did like a country version. So now whenever I look at doing a cover, I think, well, how can I do this in a different way? And it kind of like opened an avenue for me, which was really cool. Yeah.
We often hear about making it, right? But what does success kind of feel like it now?
I think I've always said for me, it's the feeling of people singing my own lyrics back to me. That would be success for me. So when I am doing a show and people are singing the lyrics back, I'm like, yes, that feels like making it, if you know what I mean. Because it's really cool that people are listening to my music and that they know the lyrics. And I think yeah, that to me feels like success.
Now, do you think vulnerability is a strength or a risk in music today?
Vulnerability. I think it's really important to be vulnerable when songwriting and telling your truth and thinking about what you want to put out into the world. So there's a strength in being vulnerable when you're telling your story and your songwriting, but I don't think you can be vulnerable in the music business. There's no one to catch you or look out for you. So yeah, I don't think there's any room to be vulnerable in the business, unfortunately, but definitely in the songwriting aspects.
Okay. Have you ever been scared to release a song because somehow during the process it was kind of personal to you?
Yes, I think I've got a song that is not released yet, but it's just in the process of being mixed. And it's probably my most personal song, which is like probably my first slow, really sad kind of ballad that I'm gonna release. And that one's really personal to me. It's a breakup song kind of thing. And yeah, I think that's gonna be the first time that I'm thinking, oh, should I release this? But I think it's a great song, so I would love people to hear it. So that's kind of
Mhm.
what pushes me past the point of being like, okay, this is too personal, but maybe other people have these feelings as well that they could connect through the song too.
And during, the whole process when you're creating a song, what it's yeah, like how long it usually takes you for you to start writing it, or like what usually inspires you for you to start writing it? Like what is the usual process, let's say, here for you to start making a song?
Yeah, so I normally always write about true life experiences. I think with country music, I love to tell a story. So I really want the song to have a story from beginning to end and almost be like it could be a movie. So I try to write about things that have either happened to me personally or my friends or people I know, and I kind of take those stories and then use them as ammunition for my songs. Um, so that's kind of where I always get the inspiration from. And then the process is different for every single song. So I could sit down and write a song in an hour, I could write a song in a day. There's a song I've been hacking at for a while that's taking me ages because I'm just not quite happy with it. And most of the time, I don't rewrite my songs. I kind of write it and then I'm like, that's it. And it doesn't really change from the day I write it to the day it gets recorded. But recently, I've got one song that I think I've rewrote about 4 times at the moment, and I'm still not happy with it. So every process is different. And sometimes from me just playing it acoustically and writing it at home to then me taking it with the band, some songs are really easy to put together with the band and it's kind of obvious and everyone knows what they want to do. And then other songs might take longer to form, but it doesn't mean that they're not great songs. They're just harder to initially figure out, if that makes sense.
Mhm. And how you handle this whole creative block, right? Happens to all of us, right? So how you handle whenever you are in those situations, let's say.
Yeah, I think if you have a creative block, for me, the worst thing is to force myself to try and write something and sit down. I don't think for me, I'll get anywhere doing that. I think if I'm going to say to myself, you're writing a song, you have to sit down and do it, it's not going to come out and it won't work. I tend to write most of my songs when I'm doing other things, while I'm driving or I'm in the shower or I'm cleaning my teeth, these like they kind of spark out of nowhere, which sparks the idea instead of being like forced down to sit and write. But also with the writer's block, if it's maybe a good idea to like reach out to other people and co-write with people if you are in a bit of a block, if that makes sense. Because then they can help you get out your emotions and see what you're trying to say that you can't quite find the words yourself.
Okay. Now, what has been the most random place when you were suddenly got the idea and start writing a song?
It's normally in the shower. I'm normally in the shower and then I'm like, right, I need to get out of the shower. I need to write this down. I need like a waterproof notepad or something in the shower because it's like I'll forget by the time I get out. So yeah, so that's normally I find is like confined spaces for me. Like when I'm in the car as well, I'll always write songs in the car, or even if I sit in the car in a car park and I'll write a song because I something about a confined space, apparently. Or in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh, I've got an idea. Yeah, it's not normally in the sit down professional sense that I'll get my initial idea. I can bring it to the table and sit down, but my initial spark ideas don't normally come from that sort of setting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean everybody has their own thing to get inspired. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Totally get it. Now, there's a pressure to go viral, right? Stay relevant or even kind of chase trends. So, how do you stay grounded in your sound?
I like to treat every song as its own thing. So if a song leans a bit more bluesy, then I'll take it in that direction. Or if it leans a bit rockier, then I'll take it that way. I don't try and like force something to be something it's not. And I kind of want to do what's for the right of the song every single time. So as long as I like it, that's kind of not all I care about, but that's the good starting point is if I like it, then hopefully other people will too. But as long as I like it, then too, I'm not always thinking about what other people are going to think of it, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So yeah, I
Okay.
just make sure that I like it first.
Totally. And at the same time, you know how you handle this whole social media thing, right? I mean, it's tricky sometimes, it's complicated sometimes, fun, whatever. So how you, yeah, like during your whole career here, how have you handled this thing with social media to stay honest with yourself and not trying to let yourself change because of a trend or something that actually social media sometimes push us to?
Yeah, I think I'm really not great at social media. To be honest, I wouldn't say that's my strong point. I like the artsy stuff. I love performing, I love songwriting, but the social media thing is not quite my bag. But I try, I'm trying. But yeah, so I think it's not something as that thing of being an artist, we all know we have to do it. And some people like it and really are really good at it, and other people are doing it because they know they have to do it. And I'm in that category.
Now, what has been the most either biggest or amazing moment, either when you were on stage or perhaps in studio, right? That made you feel alive, basically.
I love being on stage. That is my favorite place. I love the high energy of it. I love dancing around. I love rocking out on stage. That is where I always feel the most alive in a sense of like that's where the buzz comes from. And then in a studio sense, I think I feel the most alive when we're recording and maybe someone in the band does something that I've been hearing in my head and it comes out through them or they play something and that's exactly what I've been hearing. And I get so excited. That is when I feel alive because I'm like, that's exactly what I was thinking. And you just did it. And that like magical moment on the spark of getting excited is definitely a feeling of being alive for me.
What has been the biggest moment, like the biggest performance or the most amazing performance, right, that you ever had, and how was the whole experience to it?
Yeah, we do a lot of festivals here in the UK, which are always really, really fun. But I like all different types of gigs. Probably the most meaningful gig was we got to perform for the founder of Glastonbury Festival here in the UK, which is a really cool thing. So we got to perform for Michael Levis, which was a really special moment. It was more of an intimate gig. That was really cool. And then I love doing the bigger shows at festivals and things like that. Yeah, it's just the buzz of the crowd is really cool. We just did a hometown headline show in Bristol, where I'm from, this weekend, and it was great to see people singing back lyrics and knowing that this is, your hometown and people are supporting you, and that was really actually quite special.
Okay. Now, how do you balance the art with the business, especially when both can be brutally different ways?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like we touched on before, with songwriting, it's so much easier to be vulnerable and be creative and get your emotions out and treat it as a diary entry and just be really vulnerable, be yourself. But then with the business side of it, there's not a lot of time for that. You kind of have to be really on it, scheduled, and make sure that everything's in place. Otherwise, if I'm if you don't do it, nobody's going to do it for you. Do you know what I mean? So that's like the hard truth and reality of it. So you just really have to make sure you're on it, which is hard, but yeah, that's kind of the most important thing, I'd say.
Have your scars ever shaped a sound more than your dreams?
My scars ever shaped sound more than my dreams. I think in songwriting, yes. I think maybe a story might come out that I was hurtful, and then, I didn't see me necessarily telling that story, but it came out. So I ran with it, but it maybe wasn't something I always thought I would share, if that makes sense. Again, with like the vulnerable side of you don't really realize until you start opening Pandora's box. So when you start thinking about what you're going to write about or these stories, that you would ever share that with someone. Or recently, I've started co-writing for the first time, which before I always wrote the songs on my own. So being vulnerable with someone as well and sharing your experiences and your stories is a new thing for me. But it's cool to be like, right, we're just gonna let it go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna write about this. So tell me all your trauma,
Now, when the lights go out and the crowd is gone, what keeps you going back to the mic?
I just love it. Simply, that is maybe a very boring answer, but yeah, I think it's always something that I've wanted to do. And like I said, I've never even imagined myself doing anything else. So if the lights and all of that wasn't there, I'd still be singing in the shower.
Now, switching to our next section here, quick rapid fire questions, yes, no, or pass, super simple. Gonna ask you a couple of questions in which you can answer yes, no, or maybe pass.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, so starting with the first one. Would you ever ghost write a hit for someone you can't stand?
No.
Okay. Can lyrics be great if they don't come from truth?
Yeah.
Is perfectionism the enemy of emotion?
It's actually the enemy of emotion. No.
Okay. Would you turn down $1 million deal if it meant losing creative control?
Yes.
Would you record one of your past songs if you could feel it again?
Yes.
Can AI ever create a song that moves people like a human can?
Hopefully not. No.
Okay. Do you believe musical talent is more nature than nurture?
No.
Would you ever stop releasing music to find silence?
No.
Can an artist survive without ever going mainstream?
Yes.
And is heartbreak still the best songwriting fuel?
Absolutely.
I'll take it for sure. And before we wrap up here, tell me what motivates you. We all have those days that basically we just want to quit. It's inevitable, happens to all of us. So how you stay positive on a day that, life hits you basically?
Yeah, I think as creative people, that is the number one thing that is hard to shake off. For sure. When you have a bad day and you get in a hole and it's hard to see the light. But I think you just have to take a step back and think about what you really want and what you want from life and what actually borderline above anything else makes you happy. If you're doing something that doesn't make you happy, then maybe you need to have look at a look at that. I think it's way more important to be happy than anything else.
Okay. And what's that piece of advice, or what would you say, right? To either those who are watching this or listen to this who want to start in the music industry, or maybe they just want to start something new, right? And they are afraid of this little voice telling them they're not gonna make it, right? Either perhaps that comes from themselves or for a family friend. So what would you say to them?
I think if you don't try, you never know. So you just have to take the dive, bite the bullet, and you just have to try. And you never know unless you try. So you just have to go for it. And as long as you believe in yourself, then that's all that matters.
There you go. I'll take it for sure. And you know what? My last question, so we can all enjoy and relax here after an epic chat here. So, you ready? What do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Talking Truth with Taynee.
There you go. Sounds like a franchise to me. Who knows? Just saying. All right. And at the end of the day, what can I say? It's amazing what you do. I love the fact that you're doing it because it's what makes you happy, right? It's what feeds your soul. It's what drives you. We all know that working on something that drives you sometimes tends to be a little pain in the butt every now and then, right? But you make it happen. You're showing out that you're having fun. You're inspiring people. I think that is the most beautiful thing here. And also, you're showing that dreams are possible, And I think in this crazy, messed up world right now we are currently living in, the fact that we can rely on people like you who are showing us that everything's possible, that's super positive. And now we discover why you're super badass.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind. Thank you.
Totally.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for making this happen. I do want to thank also those who stayed the whole episode. Now, by this point, come on. You should know why Taynee is super badass. Let's follow her. #Team Taynee. And again, thank you for making this happen. Keep shining out there. Keep rocking. Keep kicking ass. And I'll definitely be seeing you in the next one.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.